Howdy, everyone. My name's Nicholas, and welcome to the Headliner PodPod. We're a show about podcasts featuring podcasts by podcasters that's hosted by people who help podcasters with their podcasting. On each episode, a few of us folks over at Headliner sit down to play a game that centers around listening to randomly selected clips from over 500 show submissions. Why? Because we're searching for something we like to call Pod Zero. Here are the rules. Each lucky contestant will hear a 60-second podcast clip. Then, they'll need to pick out the correct podcast title from a lineup of 3 choices before being shown the artwork for that show. Before we get the show on the road, though, let's say hi to each of our contestants for today. Starting with Oliver.
Hello, hello. Welcome to 2024.
That's right, it's New Year's. I completely forgot for a sec there. Next, we have Max,
Hiya.
followed by Christy.
Let's go.
How NPR of you. Jesse.
Woohoo, everybody.
And Pratik. I feel like I needed a golf clap after that.
Hey everyone.
And as always, we have Alyssa playing the role of producer. Actually, not as always, because last week we didn't, but that's fine.
Yes. I'm back in Nashville, no longer in California.
How unfortunate. Before we get into the actual show itself, though, we do have a little tiny itsy bitsy ad read. And Max, you were so gracious as to point out that we should talk about something. So why don't you do it for today? Why don't you tell us what's up at Headliner?
Sure. So this is an ad for Headliner. Not sure if you guys have ever heard of it. Pretty cool app. Helps you with your podcast. Happens to be the podcast you're listening to as well. So we just did a pretty fun update to Eddy where there's a new option now when you upload audio that you can now personalize all of the AI generations to your podcast. So you select your podcast during the upload step. This actually will work for video as well. And it's going to start learning from your RSS feed and adjust all the AI output like show notes and episode art to match what you've already been doing. So it'll see what your previous show notes look like and then try to replicate that style as best possible. And it's going to look at your cover art and figure out what colors you used. And then all the episode art it generates will be on brand using those same colors. So pretty fun. Try it out. Let us know what you think. And more to come like that soon.
Cool. Very interesting stuff. And like I said before we hit record, I'm going to start using Pig Latin a lot to try and throw it off its game. So, with that out of the way, let's dive into things with our first clip, starting with Oliver, just to mix things up a bit.
All right, I guess Oliver's pulling his beanie over his eyes.
It appears so.
It's also, I do a lot of like brand partnerships and making sure that the execution of a brand partnership looks really great and it complements your brand and what you're doing. And we're not doing partnerships that don't make sense for your brand, right? Mm-hmm. So really a publicist or somebody who works in PR is going to help you with everything that has to do with your image and your reputation.
Yeah. So look, I'm gonna put you in the spot for a moment, okay? And I want you to tell me this. If I'm an elite athlete, either in high school or college, why should I be thinking about getting myself a PR manager? But most importantly, I want you to tell me, how can I benefit from the expertise of a public relations manager?
Yeah, that's really good. I think a lot of times, especially in this new space of NIL, right? We're like, oh, I'm really good and I should be able to get NIL deals, right? And it just doesn't work like that, right?
Okay. I guess we'll never know if it works like that or not. It sounds like it doesn't, but
It doesn't.
we'll just... Okay. I'm glad to hear Oliver was listening because I totally spaced out for a sec there. Let's find out what this show is titled with our favorite game. Pick the right title. I don't know. We don't have a better name for it. All right. Your first choice, Oliver, is Field Goals for the Focus-Driven Athlete. Your second one, Business Tips for Athletes. And your third, Mile Markers and Mindful Moguls.
Okay. Well, the podcast was clearly about PR branding. There was mention of elite athletes. I think that the correct answer is option number 3, mile markers and mindful moguls? Ski moguls?
I'm not sure if they're ski moguls in particular, but I am pretty confident in saying that you are unfortunately wrong, getting the year off
No.
with me winning
Was
the
it
first
field
round.
goals?
It
It
was
was?
field goals for the
Oh,
focus-driven athlete.
well, that's just nuts because maybe in 2024 I should be going with my initial thought. As you know, my method is to throw out the one I initially think is the right choice. I did that for field goals. First time ever on the podcast. My gut instinct was correct. And now everything is into question for 2024.
It's just setting the pattern down for the next 12 months. All right. So, yeah, field goals for the focus-driven athlete was the correct answer. The excerpt we just listened to was from episode 45, Why Athletes Need PR Management with Des Dickerson, not to be mistaken with Des Dickerson, the guitarist for Prince and the Revolution back in the day. And here's our show description. Field Goals for the Focus-Driven Athlete, hosted by Glenn Hames, is the #1 podcast for elite amateur athletes in high school and college who are looking for tips and strategies that will give them a competitive edge to help them achieve their on and off the field court athletic goals. Whether you play football, basketball, soccer, or any other active team sport, either on the field or court, industry experts, coaches, and former professional athletes will provide insightful tips and share their personal experiences on topics that are important to the elite amateur athlete who has the focus and drive to play sports competitively at the highest level of competition. Okay. That is a very descriptive description. It's an A+ description, and it says everything you need to know about the show. I don't know how many of us are elite amateur athletes in high school or college anymore, but if anyone listening is, there's a show that you might want to check out sometime. And it has some pretty cool artwork too. I mean, you gotta love that episode art. Custom art's the best. Jumping forward to our second clip for the day, let's go with Christy.
Let's do it.
Alrighty.
Pero quedémonos con esta reflexión. Aquellas organizaciones pseudo defensoras de los derechos sociales, pseudo defensoras de un orden social justo, no son realmente defensoras de los más pobres. Son defensoras de un sistema, de un orden de cosas que buscan trascender en el tiempo para someter a las gentes del mundo al dominio de unos pocos. No hay nada nuevo en el comunismo. Es una forma más de opresión tiránica sobre los individuos. Es una deformación, un empeoramiento del sistema capitalista. China comunista, sin el capitalismo, no hubiese progresado como ha progresado.
Okay. I hope you were listening closely, Christy.
This is
I
all.
actually-
This is a trick. This is like, what is going on here? What is this, you guys? What is this? You guys did this on purpose.
I'll tell you what, we did do it on purpose, but there's even a trick in there for me because this is our third clip and not our second.
I clicked the
Incredible.
wrong button.
You get double jeopardy, Christy, because now we have to figure out if I'm smart enough to read the correct title now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So let's see what happens there. And I'm going to do you a solid because I don't want to stumble on my face and just mispronounce a bunch of words in Spanish. I'm going to read the English versions of the titles for you. Okay? Because
Okay.
otherwise, it's going to look a lot like a Cybertruck crash in the sense that there's zero crumple and a lot of carnage.
Awesome.
So let's do it. Your first choice is simply interesting. Your second choice is wonderfully amazing. And the third one is incredibly interesting.
All right. I'm going simply interesting.
Okay. Do you have any logic behind that? Any train of thought?
I think that if I was going to pick a podcast name and I was these people, I would have done that. I think there's just like,
Sure.
I think I would. I think I'm right in that aspect.
Okay. Simply interesting is correct.
Yes. Oh my God. I wrote my string. It's the one that's not even in a language I speak. The one that is like, What is you guys?
All right. I'm happy to hear that you're pleased that you won. My only note, Alyssa, is that I would have named the other two Wonderfully Wonderful and Incredibly Incredible. But
That's good.
Well, feel free
That
to
would have given
interject
away.
in the future.
My
yeah.
dog is very happy that I that I did good.
Alrighty then. So, what y'all just heard was from the episode Between Two Destructive Forces, Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. And here is our show description for Simply Interesting, translated into English. Let's look together for the topics that interest you most and create an option about them. Today, there are facts that deserve to be clarified. It is here that alternative means of information appear to enrich our knowledge. Let's read new information. Let's take a path towards an adventure in which each personal or historical event can, and in fact is, simply interesting. So, there you have it. Just some good, classic, simple podcast start. All you need is a picture of the host, a nice red border on the bottom, and then the words, you know? Also good font matching. I think. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong,
Are you
Max.
sure that's the host?
I mean, we can assume it's the host, right?
I think it's stock imagery.
Okay. Yeah, it could just be stock imagery. You're right. That's on me.
If that was the host, that'd be an amazing profile picture that, like,
I
if
would-
you ever got a LinkedIn request from somebody with this photo, that's
Fair
a plus.
enough. For everyone listening, it's a man with both of his hands on his like cheeks and he's holding like a TV remote. He's interested. Simply put, he's interested. So, that out of the way. Max, how about we put you in the hot seat and we'll go with our second clip that we jumped over.
And
I'm gonna
I did-
take my glasses off because I'm pretty blind without them, and now I can't see it. So there you go.
Perfect.
Awesome. I did pre-check this and I'm confirming it is clip number 2 this time, Nicholas.
Okay.
And if they were going to see these same changes, they could say that chimpanzee females go through a quote unquote human-like menopause. And they found that based on these hormonal measures that female chimps at Ngogo do experience this hormonal transition around age 50, similar to the menopause that we see in humans.
This discovery it is so astounding to me. And like she said, it's only possible with the long-term data like you find at Ngogo and with scientists there all the time, like asking new questions about these amazing chimps. Because chimps live a long time, especially at Ngogo. And it's interesting too, because they live for this long time and they reproduce so slowly that we wouldn't know anything about chimps without these long-term studies. They're essential because we're still learning the basic things about their lives and their biology.
Okay. So, here are your options, Max. Number 1, origin stories. Number 2, evolutionary times. Number 3, why we are the way we are.
Bit of a head scratcher.
Mhm.
Well, I'm going to go with the third one just because it sticks out. And it's podcasts I'd want to listen to know why I am the way I am. And hope
Same,
somebody
Max.
can give me an explanation one day because, always struggled with that question. Why do I
Same,
do these things?
same. I've had that screamed at me many a time over the holidays.
Oh, yeah.
So, unfortunately, the answer will not be coming to us today, Max, because it's origin stories. Sorry.
Leaky Foundation. Pretty sure I know that foundation,
Hmm.
but I kind of forgot it if I do or not. But yeah, it sounds like a good podcast. Definitely one I would listen to and collect random facts and then annoy people at parties or something with, as I usually do. I love to just learn surface knowledge about random things and from podcasts and pretend like I actually know what I'm talking about.
Same. I'm a lot like Cliff from Cheers in that regard, or that meme of the guy in the corner going, nobody realizes that chimps live a really long time. So
They reproduce slowly. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. Oh my goodness, really?
Yeah. Learned it from a podcast.
Nice. So that clip we just listened to is from the episode Top Human Origin Discoveries of 2023. And here's our show description. This award-winning show combines science and narrative to explore our human story and explain why we are the way we are. Listen and explore human evolution one story at a time. Cool stuff. Yeah, I'm actually going to save that one because I'm a bit of a science nerd. I mean, I'm a bit of a nerd in general, but that's right up my alley.
Pretty sure this is like a massive foundation, or like, let's see, who's the founder? I think this is like a really, what's the word? Like respected foundation. So it's pretty cool that they use Headliner.
That is
Louis
pretty cool.
Leakey. Right. So wow, our users.
Wait, the creator's name
awesome.
is Leakey? Really?
Yeah, it's the last name of the
Okay.
founder or the researcher, I guess, who had fired the foundation. Because I definitely like heard about this foundation before, so it's pretty crazy they use Headliner.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I was gonna make a joke about the founder's name being like Benjamin Leakey or something, and now I'm taken aback by the fact that that was actually true in its own way. That's so interesting and cool. Okay.
Dr. Louis S.B. Leakey, a pioneering scientist and passionate advocate of science outreach, getting the word out through Headliner audiograms.
Cool. Jumping forward to our next contestant, we have Pratik. Awesome. We've got Pratik covering his face with a get well soon balloon.
Thank you for announcing that, because I could not see Pratik, and I was like, okay.
It's hardly a shocking position, because I don't think when Greta Gerwig made Barbie and wrote the script with Noah Baumbach, I don't think they're thinking 50-year-old white men, and that's who we need to get. That's our target audience. That said, I mean, I was a huge fan of Greta Gerwig's other two movies that she directed, Lady Bird and Little Women, which I watched again over Christmas and bawled my eyes out at all the right moments. Maybe some of the wrong moments. Again, close to a perfect picture. Close to a perfect movie, I think. And I just couldn't see the point of Barbie, even though it was all very wink wink, all very meta, all very postmodern, all very we're in on the joke, all very this is what Barbie represented.
Okay. There's our clip. So, Pratik, here are your three options for today. Number one is behind the scenes. Number two, deep cuts. And number three, the clear out.
Well, I'm going to eliminate the third one just because it doesn't sound like it's movie analysis related, which this clip felt like to me. What was the first one again?
Behind the scenes.
Let's go with that one, behind the scenes.
Okay, first choice. Behind the scenes is incorrect. It was actually the clear out. And I realized I should have told you clear out was one word. It totally would have made all the difference. That's on me. Yeah. Thank you, Pratik. The episode we just listened to a clip from was 2023, The Year in Screen Time, Fantastic Plastic and Artistic Brutality. Good pun there on Fantastic Plastic. I think it's a reference to the movie Fantastic Planet.
Funny.
And our show description is, are you a fan of that movie, Christy?
It's a really good movie.
It's in the Barbie song.
Yeah.
Oh, is it really? I didn't even realize that.
Made of plastic. It's fantastic. Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Oh.
Yeah. So our show description is, welcome to the turbulence. Join Dara Clear, a domesticated Irishman who's trying to work out the best ways to cope with what life throws at him. Husband, father, actor, writer, teacher, karate instructor, and sea swimmer, Dara wants to take the wuss out of wellness. Mixed storytelling, philosophy, humor, psychology, and emotional honesty as a recipe for increased wellness, positivity, and resilience. Okay. So it does sound like the clear out makes more sense because this is about more than just movies.
About a domesticated Irishman.
Yes.
What a weird way to introduce yourself. Like it's like when I heard that, I was like, are you saying most Irish men are not domesticated?
I didn't even look at it that way. I just thought to myself, what happens if I meet an undomesticated person? Like, what's going to happen there? You know, I guess I would just get jumped.
Wild.
Yeah,
Watch out for those ones.
exactly. So, pretty cool stuff. I'm always here for the Greta Gerwig love. I literally watched a million of her movies over the holidays. Her movies with her husband, Noah Baumbach, are awesome. So, let's move on to the next contestant. Jesse, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Cool. Let's see if you can get this one.
Can we take a moment to realize and appreciate how much decision fatigue you're going to be sparing your people? Sitting there just taking a little, like a quick glance at some numbers and being able to make a decision on the spot instead of agonizing inside your head and collecting the information, going through it, filtering it out, seeing what would work and what wouldn't, and then debating about it for God knows how long. That's massive. Oh my God, like that's really, really impressive, Jane. Great work. Okay, so tell me this. If someone is listening to us today and they don't know if Inside Fashion membership is the thing for them, like who is this created for? Who's the person who needs that membership right here, right now? Because I know a lot of people need it.
Well, I think that anybody who is involved in the global apparel supply chain would find this useful.
Alrighty. Here are your options. Number 1, it takes 2. Number 2, a seat at the table. And number 3, business mindset. And just to specify, because I flubbed it with Pratik, mindset is 2 words this time.
Oh, okay. It takes 2, seat at the table, and business mindset. So it sounds like I'm leaning more towards the bottom 2. There's a theme here, a seat at the table and business mindset. These are both, they're talking about ways for people to be able to advance their career in the fields that they're covering each week. So I'm kind of leaning more toward number 2.
A seat at the table.
A seat at the table.
All right. Well, Jesse, you're correct. It is a seat at the table. I was really hoping you would pick It Takes 2, because then I could be coy and be like, technically you're right because it's the second one. But
we can re-roll this, and I could do that if you like.
No,
that
it's
joke.
cool. The moment's gone.
He still got to say the joke, so he's
yeah.
fine.
I got to say the joke. I'm fine. The episode we just heard an excerpt from is Coping with Information Overload, and our show description is: top international business leaders, entrepreneurs, innovators, and authors share their experience, insights, and outlook on how to drive business growth, build better companies, new fast-growing technologies, and where the next big opportunities are. So, pretty interesting stuff. And we have a nice little bit of episode art, too. Always appreciate it. And now, I believe everyone's already gone, so as always, we'll put you all on a team and just have you fight it out for a few minutes.
Let's do this.
This is the part where having an undomesticated teammate might be a hindrance, for the record. So, let's cover our eyes.
All right, I see the beanie. Christy.
Oh,
he has a beanie too. Nice.
That's teamwork.
And when we were listening to his radio, it seemed like the helicopter took a while. I don't know if that means okay.
I don't know. I know nothing about the story. I care to know more because I don't plan on doing it.
Yeah, been with people, my ex, who don't want to use crosswalks. They think that it's okay to just run out into traffic if they think it's safe. I don't like that. I've been around a few people that do that, and they're like, but we could go now, or we could just take a couple more minutes, go to the crosswalk, and have a better chance of getting across safely.
I remember when I was in Richmond with my aunt for the live orchestra viewing of Star Wars. We were in a college area, and it was nothing but jaywalkers. There was no moving through traffic. It was just people crossing wherever they wanted. It was a college thing, I guess, but
it's like Gatlinburg.
Oh God, Gallenberg.
People get it.
Jesse, was that you?
No, it's not me, but I was sitting there thinking, I was like, they sound like they're from like North Carolina or Virginia or something over there. And then
I thought this was a trick. I thought this was you.
You thought we recorded, we had Jesse come into a booth and just do solid minute of musing about Star Wars and orchestras. Valid.
It was Gallenberg. It was Star Wars. I was like, dude, this is green flag, green flag, green flag.
Or his secret alter ego that he doesn't tell us about. He's a podcast host.
Look, they had great takes. I'm here for it. These are my new friends.
That was the Urkel to Jesse's Urkel. So,
what was Ron Swanson's alter ego?
Duke Silver.
Duke Silver.
That's your Duke Silver, Jesse. We're on to you.
There you go. Don't you play the saxophone, or is that the trumpet?
I play the trumpet.
Okay, close enough. Brass instrument, yeah, you know. So
no, Jesse, help them out here. They're
Look,
not
just
even
because
gonna
it's
say
made out of
family.
metal. It's the mouthpiece that makes
Has
a
a
brass
reed.
instrument. Yeah.
okay, I've been thoroughly put in my place. You heard it here,
The
folks.
saxophone has wood in it. There's wood in the
it's a
saxophone.
woodwind.
There's wood in that wind.
Okay, gotcha. You learn something new every day. I played string.
Nice.
Here we go. Here are your options for today. Number 1, horrific history and hauntings. Number 2, spooky stuff and such. And number 3, terrifying tidbits and tales.
Man, Alyssa, you're too good at this. What was the first one again?
Horrific history and hauntings.
I really like the last one, but I feel like that's definitely not.
It's got Alyssa vibes.
I know.
She got to use the word tidbit.
Tidbit is was it terrifying tidbits?
Yes.
It's just
And
such a
tales.
like they just cancel each other out. Like you can't have a terrifying tidbit. A tidbit is never.
That sounds like the name of a horse. Terrifying tidbits and tales. I think it's out.
That's the horse from Sleepy Hollow, isn't it?
Spooky stuff is the second one. I'm down for spooky stuff.
What
Anyone else?
How the podcast was like about jaywalking. I don't even understand.
All three are so it's the first one's a horrible, and then terrifying, horrible, spooky, and then terrifying, right?
HST.
Horrific.
Okay,
I feel
horrific.
like it was less spooky.
That changes it.
Jaywalking.
They're
Well,
all
they were
scary.
talking about safety in jaywalking, Max.
Right.
Which is
Have you ever
that
been
is-
to Gatlinburg and driving? It is terrifying. There are a lot of jaywalkers.
I couldn't
Don't
re-
recommend.
It's actually illegal not to jaywalk in New York, so I couldn't relate. You get a ticket for walking across the crosswalk. You have to jaywalk here. It's a law.
It's true.
Just the law.
They have cameras at
So
every
I-
intersection that checks.
That's why I was like, doesn't sound spooky to me. Just sounds like the law that I follow every day in New York. Anyways, I have nothing constructive to add here. I don't know. If somebody else should decide.
Yes. Does anyone have any ideas what it could be? I could read the episode title. It won't give it away, but it'll stall for time.
Okay.
The episode.
Down for spooky stuff. Okay, just yeah.
The episode is Alphabet of Death, I through K in parentheses.
Okay.
That actually does seem helpful.
Yeah. All right. So here's gonna be my fever dream reasoning. So we got 3 letters. We got the H, we got an S, and we got a T. It's alliteration, I think, is the word they taught me in 4th grade. The H's, they all got right angles. S's are curved, and T's also got right angles. So the S's are the only thing different. We can go with S.
Spooky stuff.
I need to.
I just cork board with all the strings that you've connected to
your murder board.
He couldn't.
Okay.
Do you
Are
want to
guys-
apply any math? Any more math? I'm sorry,
Sure.
not geometry. More statistical analysis.
No, I'm trying to leave math behind in 2023.
So you went to
Well,
geometry?
You're going with a different form of math.
All right, I won't doubt it. If you guys want to lock that in, that's your
I'm
your
comfortable,
prerogative.
Christy.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Spooky stuff and such is woefully incorrect. It was horrific history and hauntings. So sorry. The right angles were right all along.
Yeah, check your math, Jesse. Your formula was off.
There
That
you go.
was a
You didn't
very-
carry the one.
That was a very put your sunglasses on, Max. You gotta check your math.
Cool guys don't look at explosions.
And let's learn a little bit about this show really quick. Horrific History and Hauntings is a podcast that explores the dark and disturbing side of the past. From the supernatural and hauntings to gruesome crimes and atrocities in history, the hosts, Beth and Raimi, will take you on a journey through the most terrifying events in history. Each episode will feature a different topic, such as the Salem witch trials, true crime, the Chernobyl disaster, and other tragic disasters, both caused by humans and natural disasters. You'll hear facts, legends, theories, and opinions. We'll try to toss in some humor when appropriate as well. If you love horror, history, and mystery, this is the podcast for you. Warning, some episodes may contain graphic and disturbing content. Listener discretion is advised. Horror, history, and mystery, that should have been the title. I love the alliteration on history and mystery. So, very cool stuff. Also some good artwork on there. I like that like Rembrandt skull on the ground there. It's very, very neat. Anyway, that brings us to the end of our episode. We have exhausted all of our clips. Thank you to everyone who's listened to the Headliner PodPod. Thank you to everyone who's listened to the Headliner PodPod this week. And I hope you have a good one. Bye.